Good evening, everybody. I'm Tashidele. So today is the Lamrim class. So thank you so much for have been attending the Lamrim class. Make sure once you come to TBC for learning Dharma class, at least you got something in your mind. So if you won't get anything for the Lamrim class, then it's no good for you, also no good for me. So please, try to understand. Once you understand a little bit and bring with you in your mind and try to practice every day. So as mentioned many times, also at the beginning of Lamrim, is explain one of the quality of Lamrim, because the Lamrim, include all the practices as well as Vajrayana practices. So generally, at right now we are studying about how all the Buddha teaching include into three practices. Practice about small capacity being, practice about middle capacity being, practice about great capacity being. So among us, someone has a small capacity to understand the Buddha teaching, to able to practice the Buddha teaching. Some of you have a middle capacity, which is able to know the medium types of Buddha teaching, able to practice the medium types of Buddha teachings. Then among us, some of us, we have a great capacity. That means to able to understand the great of the Buddha teaching, as well as we have ability to practice the great path, which is Bodhicitta Mahayana practice or Bodhisattva path. So everybody have to move in the practice step by step. So how we can practice all the practices step by step? First, everybody have to be happy in this lifetime. Not only that, if there's a next life, then of course we wish to be happy in next lifetime. So according to Buddhism, according to Buddhist philosophy, so we believe in next life. So that's why in order to be happy this life, in order to be happy in next life, then we need to do simple practice. So first we have to abandon the 10 non-virtues, be honest, should not have a lot of bad thoughts. So if you're able to be ethical person, if you're able to avoid the non-10 virtues, then this life you will be happy, as well as you will be happy in next life, because you will born in the fortune, happy realms. Therefore, everybody every day try to practice the 10 virtues, not try to engage in the non-virtuous thing. Then have to be honest. Even though when you do business, when you run a company, when you do certain things, you have to do business, you have to do something, but you have to do everything based on ethical, based on ethics. Then we should not have a lot of negative thoughts. We can feel it once we have a bad thoughts, and that moment we are not happy. Not only that, it make another unhappy other people. Slowly the bad thoughts can influence all your families, friends and neighbors and relatives. So that's why we should, as a Buddhist, if you are not Buddhist, still you should not have a lot of bad thoughts. second, then we need to think, even though if I, take a rebirth, take a good rebirth in next life, still, I will be in samsara, I will face, same problems, maybe more problem than this life. So this means you need to think, even though I continuously able to reborn again, continuously only the higher realms, happy birth, still I will have the physical problem, physical sufferings, mental suffering. I won't be happy at all. Therefore, I, don't want to take a rebirth, don't want to born in samsara. That means your practice going a bit higher than the previous practice. So in order to overcome from, sufferings, in order to overcome from samsara, it cannot be simply overcome. You need to practice the dharma, which is you need to know, the nature of suffering. Then once you try to understand the nature of suffering, then you need to think what are the causes and condition of the suffering. Mainly, afflictive emotions and, karmas. The positive karmas or negative karmas, still it produce, sufferings in samsaric level. Then all the, negative actions, positive actions, afflictive emotions, everything arise, produces by ignorance. So at least if we're not able to change the root of the sufferings and problem, we cannot much change the suffering. That's why second you need to think, I want to get out from suffering. I want to be free from suffering. I want to be free from samsara. Therefore, I need to eliminate the negative karmas, positive karmas, and all the negative thoughts, afflict emotions. How? So that means if we're not able to, root up the ignorance, then I cannot stop have a negative thoughts, negative actions and positive action. Therefore, I wish to cut the root of the samsara, which is ignorance. That means you need to contemplate on sufferings and, origin of sufferings. That means you need to practice the true truth in order to generate the renunciation. So this is the second, steps, which is we call, the path of middle capacity. The mainly then in order to uproot, in order to cut the root of samsara, which is ignorance, you have to practice 3 mind trainings, which is the first one, ethical disciplines. Also as a small being practitioner, you have to be ethical. You have to be, you have to act ethically. And when you practice the middle capacity path, also have to be ethical person. You need to practice ethical discipline. That means you need to make a, certain commitment. You need to take a certain vows. That you continuously maintain the vows, the samaya. That means you are practicing, ethical discipline. When you practice ethical discipline, is reduce all the, the negative thoughts. For example, as a lay person, most of you, took the lay person vows. Like a upasika vows. So within the upasika vow, there are 5. Within the 5, first, killing, human being is one of the, killing is, opposite of the ethical discipline. So once you have a commitment, once you have the vows, not killing any human being, when you think I need to kill someone, suddenly you remember you have the vows, you have the commitment that you restrained to kill human being, kill any sentient beings. When you have a sense of mind, when you have a mind to steal something, suddenly you must remember, yes, I cannot, I'm not supposed to because I have, the vows. I have to practice the ethical discipline. That means when you practice ethical discipline, it reduces the gross negative thoughts. Still, you cannot eliminate the all the negative thoughts unless you practice the wisdom. Even though you are able to practice ethical discipline, which is Shila, practice of Shila, combined with the wisdom, even though you're not able to practice the meditative concentration or mindfulness, even though you're not able to eliminate the negative thoughts, ignorance. Therefore, in order to eliminate the root of samsara, always practice, maintain the ethical discipline, the vows, as well as you must realize selflessness, emptiness. Then you must have a meditative concentration, which is mindfulness on ethical discipline, mindfulness on impermanence, mindfulness on emptiness, selflessness. Then you need to take refuge into Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So when you take vows, practice the 3 mind trainings, as well as take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, then you have the good condition. You have a perfect causes and condition to overcome from samsara, able to cut the root of samsara. That means mainly renunciation, ethical discipline, meditative concentration, then wisdom, taking refuge into Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So, once you take refuge into Buddha, then you always think, you have to believe that Buddha is always be your guide, your teacher. Once you remember your Buddha Shakyamuni, any other Buddha, you not just simply, generate faith. You must remember their teaching, their practices. When you remember their teaching practice, then you remember the Dharma. When you remember the Dharma has 2 levels, conventional and ultimate. Then you remember the truth Dharma, which is, realize the emptiness, the wisdom. Then you remember Sangha. So, in order to overcome from samsara, in order to be free from samsara, so we have to take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. In order to practice the small, small capacity path, you don't have to take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. The second is become, more, higher. That means when you practice the medium capacity path, you must practice the small capacity path within, in. You cannot, ignore the small capacity being, small capacity path. Then, yes, you going to understood, if I practice wisdom, ethical discipline, mindfulness, ethical discipline, wisdom, concentration, meditative concentration, take a refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, then I will be free from suffering. I will achieve liberation. I fully liberate from samsara. But when you really think, the nature of liberation, just simply, it's a simple liberation, which is liberation from samsara, but still you haven't achieved your own achievement. Because you eliminate, ignorance, attachment, desire. Still you have the tendency of the ignorance, attachment, anger. Also you have a sudden, subtle tendency of the negative karma. Still you haven't achieved your own goal. You haven't eliminated, all the defiled, like a potential of defiled minds. Or not only that, you haven't achieved achievement for others. Then you need to think, it is not just enough to be free from suffering, because I haven't achieved my own goal. I haven't achieved goal for others. I want to be Buddha. If I become a Buddha, then I will achieve my own goal, my own achievement as well as I will achieve, achievement for benefit for others. Then you wish to be Buddha, right? So when you wish to be Buddha, again, you have to practice the first path, second path, as well as top of them, you need to practice bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is just kind of your new practice when you practice the Bodhisattva path. So when you practice bodhicitta, again, there's two kind of methods or two kind of means how to generate bodhicitta. Then between bodhicitta and Buddhahood, I explained few times, we need to practice, 6 perfections. So all the 6 perfections, all the practices include into 2 practices, practice of methods, practice of wisdom. So this is, we, already explained in the last 2 classes. Now we just, so in Lamrim, by Adisha, so he lead the disabled, the student, mainly introducing the 3 paths, right? Small scope paths, medium and great. Then somebody has a question in their mind, why, they have to explain the first and second path. They can directly introduce the great capacity path, which is Bodhisattva path. That means it is a page number 133. So we study a little bit. Why one guides student through such a stages, right? That means somebody thought they don't have to introduce the small capacity path, medium capacity path. They can directly lead through the great capacity path. This is a doubt and question raised. Then look at why one guides students through the such a stages is explained in terms of the actual reason and the purpose. That means there's a reason to lead the student through the first path, second path, finally the third path, which is Bodhisattva path. The actual reason, the intent of Mahayana is, right? You remember, Mahayana is solely spirit of supreme enlightenment. That's why the person, the practitioner, Mahayan practitioner or Hinayan practitioner or Theravadan practitioner is only differentiate practice of bodhicitta. If you always practice bodhicitta, then just practice, you are kind of Mahayan practitioner, but you haven't reached to the real, you haven't become, the real Mahayan practitioner. In order to, become real, pure Mahayan practitioner, you have to accomplish, you need to generate the bodhicitta within your mind. You must have the bodhicitta, then you become, Mahayan pure practitioner. Then bodhicitta is like a intense, it's an intense of the Mahayan. If you have bodhicitta, you are Mahayan practitioner. If you don't have, then you are not Mahayan practitioner. Then also you remember, once you generate bodhicitta, when you have bodhicitta in your mind, then you become bodhisattva. Then you become, child of the conqueror, child of the Buddha. That's why what we call all Buddhist, bodhisattva, we call son of the Buddha, lineage of the Buddha, daughter of the Buddhas. And also the wisdom which is realized emptiness, we call the mother of Bodhisattva, mother of Buddha, mother of hearer and solitary realizer. That's why, remember in the sentence, in the prayer here, Dharma. Yeah. Yeah, so Pramana Vitaka. Yeah, Abhisamakara. Yeah. The first line, I prostrate to the mother of the Buddhas and of the hearers, Bodhisattvas, right? That means Mitriya Buddha first prostrate to the mother of the Buddha. It's not the Maya, your mother Maya Devi, right? No, this mother referred to the wisdom which is realized emptiness, right? That means all the Buddhas, include Buddha Shakyamuni himself, they become a Buddha because practice of wisdom, practice of emptiness. That's why the realized emptiness, the wisdom which is realized emptiness, we call mother of the Buddhas. All Buddhas practice emptiness. They have a wisdom. Then all Bodhisattvas, also, son of the mother of the Buddha. Also, all the Bodhisattva become Bodhisattva because practice of wisdom. And all the hearer, solitary realizer also achieve liberation because practice of wisdom, which is realized emptiness. Mother, right? Then you become son of the Buddha, children of the Sugata. Then next one, look at, thus this being entered the Mahayana upon being named, conquer children, Bodhisattva. If they ruin the spirit of enlightenment, they expel themselves from the company of Mahayana practitioner. That means you make sure you have the right understanding. Becoming Mahayana practitioner or not, it very much only depend on bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta. Once you have bodhicitta, you are Mahayana practitioner. If you don't have bodhicitta, you are not Mahayana practitioner. But still, we can say, we follow Mahayana tradition. We follow, Mahayana practice. But you are not still, you haven't become Mahayana practitioner. Ruin, right? For us, when we listen the teaching, when we listen, teaching, when we think about the benefit of practice of bodhicitta, we really think, we move, our mind to practice bodhicitta. Suddenly, we can have a similar bodhicitta. If you maintain the bodhicitta continuously, then it's become the real bodhicitta. But the best, worse or the cheap optical of the bodhicitta is anger. As a Mahayana practitioner, within the three poison, anger is one of the worst enemy. Anger arises, you hate someone, you don't like someone. When you don't like someone, you don't have any more love and compassion. If you don't have any more love and compassion someone, then you don't have a complete bodhicitta, ruin, right? So please everybody, if you consider Mahayana practitioner, always think anger is my enemy. Anger arises because of attachment. Attachment arises because of ignorance, right? Then, so what is the benefit, of practicing bodhicitta? That means before you generate bodhicitta, you need to contemplate the benefit of bodhicitta. That's first, if I practice bodhicitta, I will become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I will become, son of the Buddha. Not only that, then look at next one. This way, there are twofold, temporary and final. First is again twofold. That when you practice bodhicitta, you can have two types of benefits. The first, temporary. Second is the final one. The first has another twofold, right? Not feeling into the miserable realms and being reborn in the happy realms. Since you practice, bodhicitta, when you generate bodhicitta, you never ever going to fall into miserable realms like hungry ghost realm, in animal hell realms. is sure. Not only that, then always born in a happy realm. That is, once you have developed this spirit of enlightenment, you clear away many previously accumulated cause for miserable rebirth, and you end continuous accumulation of them in the future, right? That means once you generate bodhicitta, you clear away all the negative karma which we accumulate in the previous lifetime. Not only that, you continuously accumulation of them in the future. You also vastly increase your previously accumulated cause for happy rebirth, since they are imbued with the spirit, right? That means all your positive action, positive karma going to increase because due to practice of bodhicitta. The bodhicitta imbued mean compound. That means look like you have let's say you have a ice in your pot. Suddenly you just add hot water, right? The water suddenly become multiply because of the energy of the hot water. When you generate bodhicitta, the previous positive karma also increase. So those are the benefit. Wisely increase your previously accumulated cause for happy rebirth, since they are imbued with the spirit. Furthermore, because you are motivated by this spirit means bodhicitta, the cause that you create but inevitably will be unexhaustible. That's why I said many times, we must differentiate between positive karma and merit. Positive karma and merit. Once you are able to generate bodhicitta, all the virtues become merit. As well as we are able to practice emptiness, all positive action become merit. Until not practicing bodhicitta, emptiness, then all positive action just simply positive action, positive karma, never be merit. So what is the differences, this merit and positive karma? The positive karma is look like once you experience the fruit of positive karma, then the karma exhausts. The merit, the positive action became merit. You can continuously experience the result without ending, without exhaust. This is the difference between merit and positive karma. Not only that, once you accumulate merit, the positive action can be cause for Buddha body, speech and mind. So far, we have been accumulating lot of positive actions, but all of them always produce the samsaric level happiness, never be cause to Buddha achieving Buddha body, speech and mind. So therefore, we everybody seriously practice bodhicitta. If you could, then we can have all the benefits. Then, final enlightenment, you will easily achieve the final aim, which is liberation and omniscience, right? So after you practice bodhicitta easily, how it is become more easy? Because once you practice bodhicitta, all the negative karma going to eliminate. All the positive action, positive karma increase. Then when you practice bodhicitta, there's no any kind of chance to have anger. Because anger always destroys all the positive actions. That's why each time when you finish your practice, you must do the dedication prayers. You must dedicate your merit. Look like you deposit your money in your bank, right? That means, all the Buddhas, merit look like ocean. So when you dedicate your merit, you are putting your merit, mixing with all the Buddha's merit. This is never going to end. If you don't do the dedication prayers, after you finish your practice, next moment you will get angry. The anger is going to destroy all the virtues. That's why when you practice bodhicitta, you always be compassionate for anybody. Then there's no any chance to have anger. No anger, then all the positive action is always increase. Right? Then for you very easy to accumulate, two types of merit, which is wisdom and metas. Easily achieve your final goal, which is, liberation and omniscience. From the outside, you must have uncontrived spirit. Make sure uncontrived and contrive, right? They seek to attain the final and temporary benefit. If you do not have this, you must say, I will strive to develop the spirit on account of this benefit. The rest from the develop the spirit of enlightenment. But it will be mere word, because you don't have the the strive. Uncontrived. Uncontrived means it's not. For example, when you meet very famous like a master Rinpoche, like Dalai Lama, when you listen to the teaching, your mind is so moved by teaching, by advising, by meeting. Then that moment you have a great compassion. You have a kind of bodhicitta. The bodhicitta is not uncontrived, because it's easily to decline, very easy to forget. That's why you really need a stable bodhicitta. If you don't have the stable bodhicitta, even though you said I practice Mahayana practice, I follow Mahayana practice, I'm Mahayana practitioner, it's just merely word. There's nothing, you can say I'm Mahayana practitioner. Therefore, first you must stand in the thoughts that is common to a person of small and medium capacity in order to develop wish to attain the true benefit, higher status and human entities, and certain goodness, liberation, omniscience, right? That means in order to wish to achieve true benefits, you really need to train your mind with a common path, which is common path with a small capacity, common path with the medium capacity. Common, right? There is common true person of small and medium capacity. Now you must know the common, right? I told you that I gave you the example going by MRT from Lavender to Klang, Gelang, Paya Leba. Everybody, going to taking MRT who until Klang, right? Who going to go like airport side, everybody taking same MRT until where? Klang, right? Until Klang, everybody share same MRT, right? Then someone, going to get up in the Klang. Then another two groups go all the way to Gelang, right? That means the group who go all the way to Gelang, those two groups sharing same MRT to Klang as a Gelang. The last one going to stop where Paya Leba. The who going to go to Paya Leba, he's just taking very particular MRT. There's not sharing the same train, right? That means, someone just practice only, small capacity path, merely in order to be happy this life, in order to happy this life. That's it. They're not concerned any practice about liberation. This we become very unique. Then the Bodhisattvas practice the small capacity path. Not only, right? They at the medium capacity path. as well as they at great capacity path. That means share mean practice of 10 virtues is the common practice between whom small capacity being and Bodhisattva, right? That means Bodhisattva also practice the 10 virtues, as well as small capacity being also practice the 10 virtues. The 10 virtues is common practice, right? Common. Then Bodhisattva also practice renunciation, practice 3 mind trainings, practice taking refuge into Buddha Dharma. Those also is common practice between whom medium capacity being and Mahayana practitioner or great capacity being share. That means Bodhisattva share the path with the middle capacity as well as small capacity sharing. But the small capacity practitioner, they don't share the common between Bodhisattva himself, right? Because Bodhisattva practice bodhicitta. That means share, right? Therefore, so you must practice the small capacity path, medium capacity, then you will achieve the true achievement, temporal and final. Develop wish to attain the true benefit, higher status, human, in a certain goodness, leverage omniscience. After you have developed such as a wish, you engage in the cultivating the spiritual enlightenment, then attain the produce the benefit. As you do this, you must develop the great compassion and love that are the foundation of these altitudes. Please don't forget, becoming Buddha is very much depend on bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is very much depend on whom? Great compassion and love. Those are the foundation. Okay? That's why many people, wish to, always happy to practice bodhicitta, but they always forget to practice great compassion and love. Without foundation, you cannot build anything. That's why I repeat again and again. Do this, you must develop the great compassion and love that are the foundation for the altitude, this altitude. In other words, when you contemplate how you wander through the existence, benefit of happiness and tormented by suffering, your body here should stand. So this is kind of, benefit. Next sentence, engage in the Bodhisattva deeds, right? Please everybody read together. This being altitude, to even their own welfare, how could they produce for the other welfare, right? That means until now we don't have this kind of wonderful thoughts, even though we don't have a dream about it, right? That means so far we always think we have a self-centered attitude. We never think, I can benefit for all sentient beings. We never consider other sentient beings are more important. Others are more important than myself. When we study Lamrim, when we study Mahayana teaching, then we consider, others are more important than myself. Other welfare is more important than my own welfare. This is such as, wonderful thoughts. Yes, so yeah. Consequently, in this context of the person of small capacity, you reflect on how you are harmed by suffering of the miserable realms, right? When you reflect on, when you practice the small capacity path, you must reflect on the harm by suffering the miserable realms. In this context of the person of medium capacity, you contemplate on the how to even the higher status they are suffering, and there is no peaceful bliss. That means you need to see the even though if I born in higher realms, still there's a suffering, right? There's still misery. Even though if I achieve arhatship, I haven't have the peaceful bliss. Then you have fostered the development of the love and compassion by cultivating sense of empathy for living beings. How you hold close to you. From this, you develop the spiritual enlightenment. Therefore, turning in this through the common to person of the small and medium capacity is the method for producing the uncontrolled spiritual enlightenment. It is not the same. It is not some separate path along which you lead you. That means practicing small capacity path, practicing great capacity path is it foster to develop bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta. That means now you can see we have to practice step by step. First you think about how to be happy this life, how to happy next life. Then also you need to see, you need to think, even though I always born in the happy realms, the problems there, right? We are human being. We are already born in the higher realms, but we have a lot of suffering problem. Then finally you can see the whole samsara, wherever you are born, the suffering is always there. I won't be never, happy forever. Therefore, wish to be, liberated. Then, even though once you achieve arhatship, even though you haven't achieved, your own goal, you haven't had the peaceful, bliss. That means, so you have to move step by step. Man, finally you have to generate bodhicitta. Accordingly, you walk at many ways of purifying yourself of non-virtues and accumulating virtues using the practice for developing both altitude that is shared with the person of small capacity and the altitude that is shared with the person of medium capacity, right? That means even though when you practice small capacity path, you are accumulating virtues, you are purifying certain types of, negativity. As well as when you practice medium capacity path, also you are purifying, certain types of negativity, also accumulating, certain types of, positive actions. That means all practices, actually finally lead to generate bodhicitta. Clear? Any question? No question? Okay, that's good. So, these are the practice such as going for refuge and thinking about karma and its effect. So taking refuge and also meditating or thinking about karma and the result is mainly you are practicing the middle capacity part. Understand that those two help you to develop the spiritual enlightenment because the correspondent to either the 7 branches of worship for the practice of refuge, which are the methods for attaining that are prerequisite for the spiritual enlightenment, right? So you must think, all the practices include small capacity practice, small capacity path, medium, whatever is finally leads you to generate bodhicitta, right? Okay, next. There's a few important I should explain. At this point, the Guru thoroughly expounds the way in which the training of the person of small and medium capacity serves as a component for the development of the spirit of supreme surprise enlightenment. That means if the Guru don't explain in the very precisely, then student have a confuse. I don't know what kind of practice they must do, the small capacity or medium, or just ignore first two, maybe only, the last one. That means, now you can see, I hope you can see, first step, third step, you need first, second step. For second step, you need first step. Right? You must compound three paths together. Finally, then you are able to generate bodhicitta. Moreover, this student reach certain knowledge of this. Then, whenever you sustain a meditation, it is extremely important for you to keep this understanding in mind and turn this teaching or component for you to develop of spiritual enlightenment. Otherwise, the path of the person of great capacity and the path of the person of small and medium capacity would be separate and unrelated. Right? Unrelated. So please make sure the small capacity path is lead you to practice of middle capacity path. The first and second also have lead you to practice the great capacity path. That means everybody practice step by step. Otherwise, you can see it's totally separate. There's no, unrelated. And since you do not attain any certain knowledge of the spiritual enlightenment until you reach the actual path of the person of great capacity, you lack of training in this topic as component of your development of the spiritual enlightenment, which either prevent you from the developing the spirit, or while you lack this training, cause you to devote from your great purpose of develop the spirit. Therefore, pay close attention to this point. That's mean here saying mainly. So if you move step by step, for you very easy to generate bodhicitta. If you totally, ignore, don't pay attention first two paths, still you try to generate bodhicitta, you could, but it takes long time. It takes long time. Also, it, someday it become obstacle to generate bodhicitta. Right? Bodhicitta. Because if you don't see, the suffering completely suffering in even the higher realms, then you have a sense of attachment in samsara, right? Samsara. Then it can be cause, it can be, can be obstacle to generate bodhicitta. Therefore, you must know the you must know the related between first, second, third. You must have a right knowledge about the three paths. Three paths has a link each other. In this way, turn in the path of person of small and medium capacity and turn well in what is explained in the context of the person of great capacity. Then, to the best way of your ability, develop uncontrolled spiritual enlightenment in your mind stream. Next, look at now, just everybody, just imagine you practice the first path, then it lead to the medium capacity path. And you practice the medium capacity path, it lead to the, great capacity path, Bodhisattva path. And then next means, now you really feel, yes, I must practice, I must generate bodhicitta. Then, let's say, then you have a, kind of bodhicitta already. So, in order to stabilize this, the spirit or this mind, which is bodhicitta, make aspirational practice of refuge, special practice of refuge, and then perform the rite of the aspirational spirit of enlightenment. This might be difficult to understand. That means once you have bodhicitta, the bodhicitta must be very stable. You need stable, bodhicitta. How? That means make special practice of refuge and then perform the rite of aspirational spiritual enlightenment. Special practice of refuge. What does mean? Let's say, I take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. This Buddha can be, only Arhat. Not necessarily be, complete being. Buddha, right? So when we said I take refuge into Buddha. Buddha can be the complete being like Buddha Shakyamuni. The Buddha can be the person who just achieved liberation. Right? So, in order to stable the bodhicitta, when you say, I take refuge in Buddha, you only reflect the complete, being, the complete Buddha, not just only liberated being. This means special Buddha. Dharma. Also, when you say, I take refuge into Dharma, you are not just talking about Dharma, which is able to, able you to free from suffering, able you to free from the samsara knot. The Dharma, mainly we thinking about the Dharma which is lead you to the Buddhahood. Okay, that means the Dharma is very unique one. Buddha is very unique one. The Sangha, also Sangha is not just talking the Sangha who just achieve the seeing path. No, the Sangha must be Sangha who achieve the Mahayana seeing path. Mahayana seeing path. Actually, there are totally 15 paths. 5 paths based on the hearer. 5 paths based on the solitary realizer. Then 5 paths based on the Bodhisattva paths. Okay, that means totally 15 paths. 15 paths, right? For example, Singapore has your unique passport. Malaysia has a unique passport. India has a unique passport, right? Unique. When we say passport, we are talking about which passport? Malaysian, Singapore, or Indian? When we say path, Dharma, which Dharma? Dharma based on the hearer, or solitary realizer, or Bodhisattva Dharma? Dharma. That means special Buddha, which is the complete, completely achieve all the good quality, completely eliminate all the faults, the Buddha. Dharma is the Dharma which realize emptiness, realize emptiness directly and, imbued, right? Like Kanjon. Imbued, right? With the bodhicitta. Then the Dharma become very special, right? The Dharma means the wisdom which realize emptiness directly, then it imbued with the bodhicitta. Then it become special Dharma. The Sangha also, the person, he or she, accomplish the seeing part of the Bodhisattva path, right? Seeing part of the Bodhisattva. That means special Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We call common refuge, refuge and uncommon refuge. So we Tibetan used, tumong, tumong, the tumong mayamba, common refuge, uncommon refuge. Then not only that, then you need to, chant Sadhan Mantra, for example, I take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha until I am enlightened by practice of generosity and so forth. Right? The first sentence is the verses is taking refuge. The last 2 sentences is sentence about, taking aspirational bodhicitta. Right? That's when you have a strong, aspiration to generate bodhicitta. Right? That's so important here. Say, next, in order to stabilize this spirit, make a special practice of refuge. Special practice of refuge. And then perform the rest of the aspirational, enlightenment. After you have adopted this, then after you adopt, the aspirational bodhisattva vows, this aspirational spirit of through the retreat, you must strive to learn the precept, then develop great yearning to learn the bodhisattva deeds, then 6 perfections and 4 ways of gathering disciples. Now we would know after you fully generate bodhicitta, then you have to take a vows. Do you maintain all the vows? Then you practice 6 perfections as well as 4 gathering disciples. What are the 4 gathering disciples? Generosity, pleasant speech. First is very easy, right? Generosity, pleasant speak. Walking, M's. Okay, M's. The last one. That's me. Your first, generosity. When you generate, when you become very generous, so people will follow after you. People respect you, right? People listen to you. Then second, if you very generous person, you give everything every day, everything. If you speak very, unpleasant, people won't come. They come, they stay short term with you. So you give everything, you give things, speak very, nicely, pleasantly, then people always come to you, see you. Then second, you must give a teaching. You must give a teaching, right? When you give a teaching, let's say you should not harm anybody. When you say to your disciple, you should not harm anybody, first you yourself should not harm anybody. Right? That's why I said last time, before I say you should not eat meat, first I should not eat meat. I'm taking meat, I say you should not eat meat is very bad. It doesn't make sense. That means, whatever the master says, the master must follow, practice is the second and third. The last one, whatever this for, mainly benefit for others. That's for gathering. Then it's explained, this, I take little time because these pages explain whole, the Buddha teaching. Whole Lamrim is kind of, the contents of the Lamrim. Once the four ways of gathering disciples. Once this yearning arises from the depth of your heart, right? Then decisively take up the pure vow of the engaged spirit of enlightenment. Then the rest of your life, that means when you really think your bodhicitta is so important, I must practice, I am able to practice, then you take a vows, then you maintain the pure vows. Then when you maintain the pure ethics vows, then at the risk of your life, avoid being polluted by the root infraction, right? Stop not to be soiled by even small and medium contamination or by the creation of faults. Even if you are soiled, truly purify yourself by repairing in infraction just as through the scripture. That means now it's difficult when you read the English, it's so difficult to understand. That means, yes, you generate bodhicitta, then you must practice the sixth perfection. You must practice the 4 ways of gathering. Then finally you need to take a vows. That means you need to make a commitment. Right? Commitment. So when you have a commitment, the commitment based on 2 reasons. One is naturally very bad. Right? So when you take a vows, you're saying, I'm not killing anybody. Right? Anybody. So when you kill someone, that means you are against the vows. This is what you call, here look at, the root infraction, root infraction means it's kind of again the the root which is it naturally very bad. The second, naturally is not bad, is become non-virtuous because of the vows, right? That means you don't have to confuse. You just simply, once you take a vows, all what kind of vows you have to maintain. You need know all the numbers. Then you just simply follow all the rules. Then okay. Next, look at another important So you can repairing the infraction just as a true thought is scripture. Important here, look at like the monk vows, Pratimokkha vows. We in monks and nuns had taking the Pratimokkha vows. The Pratimokkha vows, once you against the root vows, right? If you're not able to maintain the root vow one time, then you cannot repair again. You cannot. When you break the rules, the root you cannot take again. It's finished. Clearly finished. The Bodhisattva vows and Tantrayana vows, once you break, you can take again. You can repairing again. You repairing your watch. Look like you can repair again. The bhikshu vows, Pratimokkha vows. When you destroy the root vow, you cannot repair again. You cannot say, I'm sorry, I against the root vow, I can take against. No. But in Vietnam, when I was in Vietnam, they said, the monk can take the vows like 8 times, 7 times. In Vietnam, in Singapore? No. Should not mix, Theravadas, okay, full ordinance monk, when they destroy the root vow, I don't think they can take. But in Theravada has, you can be monk for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, few months, it's just tradition. Yeah. It's not fair, But we still need to study, Then if this is 5, 7, why not 8? Yeah, anyway, so according to, like a Tibetan, like a Buddhist tradition, when you take the monk vows, when you against the root vows, then you finish, no more monks and nuns. You cannot take again. It look like, break the clay pot. When you destroy, you can destroy. You cannot make again. So here next turn, broadly in the 6th perfection. In particular, turn well in the meditative stabilization, in the heart of the meditative serenity, in order to make your mind capable of being sit on the virtuous object of meditation, according to your wish. Right? That's mean bodhicitta. Take a vows. Maintain your vows. Maintain your vows very purely. If something wrong, you can, repair the Bodhisattva vows, Vajrayana vows. Not the, what do you call? Pratimokkha vows. No, you cannot. But the lay person is an exception, okay? You can take 1 vows, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to you. You can say, since today, I'm not going to kill anybody. Just you can take 1 vows. Lay person. And 2 vows. 3, 4, 5. Depend on you. The monk, look at, it doesn't make sense for me because according to the Vinaya, is mentioned very clearly. We say, the renounce vow. The bhikshu or Vinaya vow, we call renounce vow. That means when we take a vows from the, you should not mix the Tantra vows. Bodhisattva vows, you are receiving from Guru, your root Guru. Okay? The Vinaya vows, you are not receiving from the root Guru, you are receiving from the community, the Sangha community. For example, when you are taking vows from Dalai Lama, I say, I receive vows Dalai Lama. Actually, you are received the vows from the group of the monk, not individual. So when we take vows, we say, since today, until I'm dead, I will take the vows. This you have a commitment. maintain the vows until you dead. If you say, I will take the vows for 5 days, 1 week, 10 days, we don't have this kind of tradition in Tibet. What about in like Singapore? In Chinese tradition? Monk also can?
You mean ordained monk?
Yeah, ordained monk.
It's lifetime, but the monk can be robed 7 times, like I say.
In China?
For monk, and for nun only once.
Oh, that's is interesting, huh? I'll tell you a very interesting story. So me and Geshe Dujiremdul, so who came last year, he's coming here again. Me and Geshe Dujiremdul and other, I think, 15 monks. We did kind of research in all the Tibetan monasteries and nunneries, the biggest, big monastery nunneries. Then we also did research in the village. Why the village people not sending their boys and girls to the monastery and nunnery? I asked few questions. The village people said, we are very happy to send our boys and girls to the monastery, but monastery don't provide the good modern education. They said they don't provide the good modern education. Because once they disrobe, then the monk and nun, they don't have the proper modern education. They become jobless. This is a complaint from the village people. Then also we did research within the monastery, biggest monastery, Sera, Dribung, Galden, Nyingma, everywhere. We have a lot of, secret question. We just keep the paper, the monk have to answer. We collect all the paper, then we do research. Many monks says, I don't think I can be happy, I can be monk whole life. I become a monk without knowing anything. I don't think I can be monk for whole life. I am very happy to be monk like Thai monk. Few months, few years is happy. They say we must change the rules. They say we must change the rule. That means, we must follow like the Thai tradition. I can be monk for few months, few years. I cannot be a monk for whole life. Also, they said I don't think I can be monk because I become a monk without knowing anything. Now I know this is very difficult to be a monk. Yeah. That's why, so that's why you have to, anyway, the Bodhisattva vows, the Tantrayana vows, you are receiving from only your master, your guru. The Vinaya vows you are receiving from, like community of, group of the Sangha community. That's why, in order to receive, the bhikshu vows, we need 10, I think, sanghas. We must have 10 sanghas. In order to provide, the bhikshuni full ordained vows, we need, I think, it depends on center or, depend on the environment. Minimum we need, I think, 20 monks and 20 full ordained monks and nuns. That's why in Tibet we don't have the ordination of the bhikshuni because there wasn't, full ordained nuns in Tibet. So that's why in Tibetan society last, I think, 10 or 15 years, many, Tibetan nuns want to be full ordained bhikshunis. So we Tibetan cannot provide the vows. And also we did, a lot of research in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and also we hope, the Tibetan can receive the full ordained vows from China, like Taiwan. It's not the politics. When we, did, I also with this kind of group to do research. When we research Sri Lanka, there are no full ordained nuns. Thailand, there are no full ordained nuns. And now only like China or Singapore and like Malaysia and mainly like from China. When we did research in the Chinese tradition, we could not find really say this is perfect. They can receive the vows from their side. There are so many, I think, broken kind of lineage. So that's why the full audience, the Pratimokkha vows, you must receive from the group of Sangha, not from individual. That's you can take one time. When you destroy the root, you cannot take any more. Particular turn well in the meditative. So within this, you have to practice 6 paramita. Within the 6 paramitas, most important one, meditative civilization, serenity. In order to make your mind capable of the being set on the virtuous object of meditation according to your wish, then look at that you should develop meditative serenity for the sake of producing the supreme knowledge. He is simply giving examples of Adisha. In other contexts, he says that you should develop serenity for the sake of producing the insight. Therefore, achieving serenity mainly for purpose of insight. Then in order to cut the bonds of the conception of the true self, make a philosophical determination of the meaning of emptiness, which is selflessness. After sustain the unmistaken methods of meditation, achieve the insight of heart of wisdom. That means, after bodhicitta, what you need to practice? You need to practice 6 perfection. Within the 6 perfection, the meditative concentration is very important. So you need to practice meditative concentration, like serenity, in order to generate, supreme knowledge, in order to generate special insight, right? The special insight can be special insight on impermanence, special insight of the truth of suffering. Finally, you need to, achieve the special insight on emptiness and selflessness. Then, when you have, special insight on emptiness or selflessness, then now you are really, cutting the root of the samsara. You are really cutting the self-centered attitude, right? That means you can see the, link, bodhicitta, vows, 6 paramita. Within the 6 paramita, like a serenity after special insight. Special insight, there's many times, mainly emptiness. Then meditation achieve the insight, the heart of the wisdom. According to Adisha, then there's a few things I must say here. The practice up to and include the training, the precept and vows engaged in the spiritual enlightenment, training ethical discipline. That's means another, 3 mind training. Training ethical discipline, serenity is the training in concentration of mind. Insight is the training in the wisdom. Now furthermore, all the practice up to include meditative serenity constitute of the factor of the enlightenment called either methods and collection of merit, right? That means all the practices you can include into practice of mind training, practice of concentration, practice of wisdom. Not only that, all the practices you include into 2 types. What are they? Either methods and the collection of merit, right? Then path that depend on the conventional truth. That means all the practices you can into practice of methods, practice of wisdom, right? Not only that, the stature of the vast path, that means there's synonyms, methods, collection of merit, the stage of the vast path, those are, synonymous. The next one, development of the 3 kinds of spatial wisdom. That means wisdom of conventional wisdom on. Do you remember the 3 wisdom? Conventional wisdom, ultimate wisdom, the benefit, wisdom of and of benefit of others. Those are, we call the constitute of the factor of enlightenment called wisdom. Then collection of wisdom. Then ultimate truth. Then profound path. Those are synonymous. Right? That means all the practices include into practice of methods, practice of wisdom, practice of wise path, practice of profound path. Right? And practice of methods, collection of merit, practice of collection of wisdom. That means it's very simple. Then next stage, look at This is how the royal geese, the conquered children who are on their way to the great ocean of the Buddha's good quality, separate their two wings and fly. Spread their two wings and fly. One's wing is conventional truth, all the factors are methods, the vast path. The other wing, which is the dependent ultimate truth, is knowing the well, both reality, selflessness. However, they do not take up only single part of the path, flying like the bird with a broken wing, right? So all the Buddha quality look like ocean. You have to, go through the ocean. You need two wings. Wings of the conventional truth, wings of the ultimate truth, right? The ultimate truth mainly talking about emptiness and selflessness. The rest of the practices we call the conventional wing. So that means one broken wing cannot, cross. After you have trained your mind means of ordinary path. That means the small capacity path, medium capacity path, and a great capacity path. Practice of six perfection. Practice of three mind trainings we call the common path. Common path. Okay, common path. That means common between whom? Sutra Mahayana practitioner and Vajra Mahayana practitioner is common. That means the person who practice the Vajrayana path, they must practice all of them. So common. Common or ordinary path. You must certainly enter the mantra path, because when you do, you will quickly complete the true collection. If you cannot practice more than just the ordinary path, or do not want to do it because your inclination inherited from the former life is too weak, then just improve on this very stage of the path, right? After you practice the common path, you must practice the Vajrayana path. You must, because very easy to accumulate merit. If you cannot, then, due to certain reason you cannot, then you must improve the common path, right? Here everybody must think, practicing Vajrayana is very easy to achieve. Buddha is very easy, is true. If you don't know how to practice, there's a lot of dangers. Okay, very, very. Now you can see here. You do not quickly, when you do, you will quickly complete the two collections. That means collection of wisdom, collections of methods, right? If you cannot practice more than just ordinary path, or do not want, if you cannot practice, you can, but you don't want to do it because your inclination inherited from the previous life is too weak, you don't have really enough karma, then just improve on this very stage of the path. It is taught in all the vehicle in general, and in the mantra vehicle is particular. The reliance on the teacher is very crucial, right? Consequently, once you enter the mantra path, you should follow the mantra explanation and practice the methods of relying on the teacher. That is even more specialized than what I have explained. That means when you practice bodhicitta, the great vehicle, Vajrayana vehicle, it is so important to rely on teacher. So, particularly when you practice the Vajrayana, you have to rely on specialized teacher. It has a more quality than the common teacher, right? Look at, I have explained before. They repeat your mind with the initiation that come from the pure tantric sources and absorb purely at the risk of your life. All of the vows and pledges that you have received during your initiation. That means after your mind is fully repent. That means repent means the common path, right? Mainly bodhicitta, renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. Then you have your mind is fully repent to enter into Vajrayana. Then first what you need to do, you need to receive initiation. Okay? So that's why most of you I think already attend mini initiation. In the future, before you attend initiation, you must try to know what kind of teacher, Rinpoche, Sifu, Guru, whoever. You must try to know about the master. Second, you really need the pure motivation to receive initiation. You should not think, oh, I go initiation, I receive blessing. I go receive initiation, eliminate my negative karma. I go to receive initiation, increase my wealth, my happiness. It's a wrong motivation. Okay, make sure first you are mindfully repent. That means you must have a good understanding of emptiness. You must have a bodhicitta. You must have a renunciation. Then you enter into Mahayana, receive initiation, rely on the teacher. After receive initiation, you must, follow all the rules. It will be very difficult to give rise to good quality. Therefore, especially, step never to be trained by root infraction and not to be soiled by the secondary infractions. That means, so not only that, then train in good instruction on the either the yoga with the sign. That means with the Vajrayana, there are, 4 levels. 4 levels. So mostly we practice the higher Tantrayana. So that means you need a common, you need the common paths. You need to rely on the teacher, receive the initiation, follow all the rules. Then you have to practice 2 stages. What are they? 2 stages. Generation, completion stage. Generation and completion stage. Okay. So why you have to practice generation and completion? After you receive initiation, you need to arise yourself as like a deity. Like if you receive the Yamantaka initiation, every day you need to arise yourself as a Yamantaka. Due to this practice, you eliminate the common sense of your life. Then completion stage. So when you practice completion stage, you are trying to control, your all the energy and wind. That means, I don't think it's a right time to explain anyway. So, after initiation, practice 2 stages. In order to practice 2 stages, first stage is step number 1. The second, you can move, the completion stage. Within the completion stage, there are 5 paths, 5, steps. Okay, so next, so we don't have a time. So next class is a homework. Actually, us to the homework, right? Do you remember the homework? Huh? No, I don't say particular. I ask particular homework. 3 root, right? 3 reason something here. Yeah, 142, right? So anyway, so again homework I will give you, very simple homework. There's a few things. Three reasons, right? Mindfulness that the 4 types of fault do not cultivate. Oh yeah, 3 roots, 9 reason, 3 decision, right? 3 root, 9 reason, 3 decision. Okay, so when you read, so this one something is difficult. What are the 9 reason? What the 3 decision? Okay, please everybody try to understand the 3 root, 9 reason, and 3 decision. Okay, remember the homework. 3 root, 9 reason, 3 decision. Okay, so please everybody must come with this homework. Perry, do you remember homework? What is homework?
3 roots,
Three rules.
reasons, three decisions.
Oh, that's good, huh? Positive. It's just between, because I'm thinking, just we should have one class about the mindfulness of the death. Then we just move to the taking refuge. Then we explain a little bit about the karma, because we have the class about 12 links interdependence. Then we directly move to the great capacity. Simply, we have to study about how to meditate on death, impermanence. Then we have to study about how to take refuge into Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Then we have to study about the karma related to the 12 links interdependent. Then we go directly to great capacity, because most of you great capacity beings. Because between there's mentioned a lot of suffering in the hungry ghosts, hell is not important.